Physical security is not only about keeping intruders out, it's also about protecting assets from the forces of nature and ensuring that those who are allowed inside handle secure environments responsibly. Fire, flood, power failures, and even minor climate imbalances can disrupt operations just as effectively as a malicious actor. Controls A.7.5 and A.7.6 recognize these realities by focusing on environmental resilience and disciplined behavior within secure areas. A.7.5 safeguards facilities against environmental threats, whether natural, accidental, or man-made, while A.7.6 ensures that personnel working inside secure zones maintain vigilance, confidentiality, and compliance. Together, they complete the picture of physical protection by addressing not just design and technology, but also the human and environmental factors that sustain long-term reliability. A.7.5 requires organizations to identify and mitigate environmental threats to their physical and information assets. The control applies to all facilities supporting the ISMS, data centers, offices, archives, or industrial plants, and mandates safeguards proportional to the risks of each location. Environmental risks include natural hazards such as floods or earthquakes, accidental events like fires or pipe leaks, and human-related disruptions such as power failures or vandalism. The control integrates closely with business continuity and disaster recovery planning, ensuring that facilities are not only protected but also recoverable. Its guiding principle is prevention reinforced by preparedness. Anticipate what could go wrong, install safeguards to minimize the likelihood, and test them regularly to ensure they work when needed. Common examples of environmental controls begin with fire prevention and suppression systems. Smoke detectors, fire extinguishers, and automated suppression systems, whether gas, mist, or water-based, must be deployed in line with facility type and asset sensitivity. Flood protection may involve raised flooring, sump pumps, or physical barriers in flood-prone areas. Temperature and humidity controls preserve hardware reliability and prevent data loss from condensation or overheating. In regions prone to earthquakes, racks and heavy equipment should be seismically braced to prevent tipping or impact damage. These measures transform the physical facility into a resilient environment capable of withstanding both gradual wear and sudden shocks. Infrastructure and facility design decisions lay the groundwork for environmental resilience. Site selection should consider local geography, avoiding floodplains, unstable soil, or areas prone to wildfires or industrial hazards. Facilities should have separated utility feeds to prevent single points of failure, along with redundant power sources such as generators or uninterruptible power supplies. Backup generators require regular testing under load to verify reliability. Drainage paths and leak detection systems should be part of construction design rather than afterthoughts. Architectural diagrams documenting these features are not just engineering artifacts, they are also evidence of compliance, proving that environmental safeguards are intentional and traceable. Auditors examining A.7.5 expect to see both documentation and operational proof of environmental readiness. Maintenance logs, inspection reports, and service certificates confirm that equipment is functional and regularly reviewed. Architectural diagrams highlighting control placement demonstrate that design considers environmental risks. Risk assessments should include environmental factors, showing how mitigation aligns with business continuity objectives. Records from emergency drills or power failure simulations provide evidence that staff and systems can respond effectively under pressure. Together, these materials validate that environmental resilience is woven into daily operations, not relegated to contingency planning alone. The risks of neglecting environmental safeguards are substantial. Floods, fires, or earthquakes can destroy data centers and archives outright, while poor climate control may silently degrade equipment until a major outage occurs. Power failures without backup provisions can halt business operations and erode customer confidence. Even minor oversights, like untested fire suppression systems or clogged drains, can escalate into costly disasters. The financial, reputational, and regulatory damage from such preventable events underscores why A.7.5 is more than a facilities requirement. It is an integral part of risk management and governance. Illustrations from industry demonstrate both the cost of failure and the value of foresight. A data center that neglects to maintain its cooling infrastructure may face system-wide downtime during a heat wave. Archive facilities without adequate fire suppression have lost irreplaceable historical records. Manufacturing sites unprepared for water leaks have suffered production halts due to damaged control systems. By contrast, hospitals that install redundant power feeds and environmental controls protect life-critical systems even during regional blackouts. These examples remind us that environmental resilience is not optional. It is a business enabler that safeguards continuity, credibility, and trust. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Control A.7.6 focuses on the human side of facility security, how people behave once they are inside secure areas. While perimeters, entry controls, and environmental safeguards create strong physical barriers, those measures can be undermined if personnel inside restricted zones act carelessly or disregard procedure. The goal of A.7.6 is to ensure that secure areas remain trustworthy not just by design but by conduct. It establishes clear rules for access, supervision, and acceptable behavior, ensuring that confidentiality and integrity are upheld through disciplined daily operations. This control turns secure areas into managed spaces where everyone understands their responsibilities and where every action within those spaces is traceable, authorized, and purposeful. The scope of A.7.6 includes all areas designated as secure under A.7.1 to A.7.3 data centers, records vaults, network operations centers, and any room housing sensitive information or equipment. It governs how authorized personnel, visitors, and contractors conduct themselves once they are admitted. The focus is not only on preventing deliberate misconduct, but also on avoiding accidental violations, such as leaving materials exposed, mishandling assets, or enabling unauthorized observation. In secure areas, even minor lapses, like leaving a document on a desk or discussing sensitive matters within earshot of visitors, can have disproportionate consequences. A.6 reinforces that security within these zones is not an occasional concern, but a continuous expectation. To maintain that expectation, organizations must define and communicate a clear set of secure area rules. Recording devices such as smartphones, cameras, or audio recorders should be prohibited unless explicitly authorized for business purposes. Maintenance or cleaning staff must always work under supervision and never be left alone with access to secure equipment or documentation. Visitors must remain accompanied by approved escorts at all times. Personal belongings such as bags or external drives should be stored outside secure spaces to prevent introduction of unapproved materials. These straightforward policies eliminate ambiguity. Everyone knows what behavior is permitted, what is prohibited, and what requires approval. Behavioral discipline extends beyond restrictions to proactive security habits. Personnel operating in secure areas must follow clean desk and clean screen policies, ensuring that sensitive materials are never visible to unintended eyes. Cables, server panels, and equipment must not be touched or reconfigured unless authorized and trained to do so. Any anomaly, such as an unfamiliar person, misplaced equipment, or unusual sound, should be reported immediately using the event reporting process defined under A.6.8. Every deviation from established procedures, even those made with good intentions, must be logged for review. This attention to routine reinforces accountability and fosters a culture where vigilance is second nature. Operational controls further support behavioral discipline. Visitor badges should look distinctly different from staff credentials and expire automatically at the end of each day. CCTV cameras, where legally permitted, monitor activities within sensitive rooms, ensuring both deterrence and evidence in case of inquiry. Entry systems should record biometric or credential-based logs for each access event, capturing who entered, when, and for how long. Temporary access, such as for external auditors or maintenance contractors, must be requested, approved, and documented through defined workflows. These operational details give management and auditors a continuous view of who was in secure spaces and whether their presence was authorized and monitored. To demonstrate compliance with A.7.6, organizations must maintain verifiable evidence of their internal controls and enforcement practices. Secure area policies should outline behavioral expectations, restrictions, and access approval processes. Visitor escort logs and access registers show adherence to supervision rules. CCTV footage, access logs, and alarm reports serve as objective records for monitoring and investigations. Exception registers document any deviations, such as one-time after-hours maintenance, with management justification and approval. These artifacts together prove that secure areas are not just physically restricted, but also actively governed through procedure, oversight, and documentation. The risks mitigated by A.7.6 span from the subtle to the severe. Insider threats, whether intentional data theft or negligent mishandling, are constrained by supervision, monitoring, and clear accountability. Unauthorized personnel are prevented from wandering into restricted spaces under false pretenses. Accidental damage to critical infrastructure is avoided by restricting equipment interaction to qualified staff. Operational downtime from misconduct, such as unplugging servers or interfering with cabling, is prevented by procedural clarity. The control's strength lies in its ability to neutralize both malice and complacency, maintaining security through a consistent standard of conduct. However, enforcing secure area rules presents its own challenges. Long-term staff may become complacent, assuming familiarity replaces vigilance. Contractors or temporary workers may be unaware of site-specific procedures, increasing the risk of oversight. Cultural factors can also create friction, particularly in regions or organizations where strict supervision is viewed as mistrust. Balancing convenience with control requires steady communication, explaining not just what rules exist, but why they matter. Leadership commitment and regular reminders through awareness programs ensure compliance remains cooperative rather than adversarial. A.7.6 also connects closely to other ISO controls. It complements the perimeter and entry management of A.7.1 and A.7.2, extending those controls inward to the behavioral level. It ties into A.7.4 as monitoring systems provide verification of activities within secure areas. It aligns with Clause 7 requirements on awareness and competence, ensuring staff are both trained and reminded of their responsibilities. Finally, it supports incident response controls under A.5.25 and A.5.26 by ensuring any anomaly within secure areas can be swiftly detected, reported, and investigated with complete records. When A.7.5 and A.7.6 are implemented effectively, the results are both structural and cultural. Facilities become resilient to environmental and accidental hazards, while secure areas operate under predictable, disciplined routines. Employees understand that protection of information is continuous, from natural disasters to everyday actions, and that both infrastructure and behavior must align with the organization's security posture. Together, these controls ensure that physical resilience is not merely mechanical but human, encompassing the reliability of facilities, systems, and the people who operate within them. With these layers in place, the organization can confidently move to the next phase of Annex A, A.7, and A.8, focusing on clean desk, screen, and equipment protection to complete the framework of secure physical operations.